All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Payoff Pitch. My name is Patrick Lewis, here with Clark Montessori freshman, Joey Olberding. Joey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Patrick. I am doing great. I'm doing fantastic. Yesterday was an awesome day, and you know what? I'm hoping this one will be even better.
Well, thank you for joining us, people who are listening here on MRC Radio. It is June 21st. We are going to talk a little bit Reds.
Yeah.
And I know you're happy about that. We're going to, I think, have a Red segment every single time that we do this.
Yeah, it's looking like it.
Which is a local radio sports talk show, so I think that's...
Yeah.
And plus, you just love the Reds. So what do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about the current losing streak? Because they did have some problems losing, or do you want to talk about something else regarding the Reds first?
Well, I think it's better not to focus on the bad things, at least immediately. So let's talk about something that happened over the weekends that was pretty cool.
This past weekend?
Yeah, this past weekend.
Okay.
Pete Rose got his statue in Great American Ballpark, outside Great American Ballpark.
Nice.
That was cool.
Is it bronze like everyone else?
Well, yeah, of course.
Duh, I didn't know if they were going to put it in gold.
Mm-hmm. That would be...
be weird, right?
Yeah, it would be.
What's it look like?
It looks cool because, you know, Pete Rose is famous for being a hard-nosed player, you know, willing to do anything to help his team win. So
Charlie Hustle, right?
Charlie Hustle, yeah. So it shows him, like, diving headfirst into the bag, you know, something that he did a lot in his playing days.
That was the statue?
Yeah, that was the statue.
Him diving first?
Yeah, headfirst.
Head first?
Yeah.
Into what, third base or home, or...?
I mean, it was a base.
It was a base. It had to have been that play that he was diving in the third. I forget when he was, but that's the image that everyone knows. I bet that's what it is. It's third base, right?
Probably.
Okay. So he's diving first, head into third base.
And yeah. So I was at that game. I didn't actually see like the statue get unveiled or anything.
Okay.
But yeah, I saw the Pete Rose had a nice speech on the field, and he was talking about how all the players from Cincinnati, like Ron Oster,
yeah, Ron Oster,
yeah,
who has a field named after himself too for Clark Montessori.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty
Clark
cool. That's
Montessori,
where our baseball team plays.
Yeah. Dave Parker, Pete Rose himself, guys like that. They're all hard-nosed players. You know, they'll do anything to win for the team. He talked about that, and that was nice because said like all the players in Cincinnati who play not whole baseball are some of the best players in the nation. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I play not whole baseball in Cincinnati. Am I one of the best players in the country? And then I thought to myself, no, you're not, Joey.
Come on. Give yourself more credit.
Fine.
What position do you play, Joey?
I play second and outfield.
Second and outfield.
Yeah.
You're not pitching?
Yes.
I bet you got an arm.
I kind of do. I had a terrible arm last year, but now I have a pretty good one, if I do say so myself.
Did you get stronger, or what do you mean you have a better arm this year?
I mean, I just kind of worked on it over the off season, I guess, and I worked on my hitting too, and
good.
Yeah. I think I've done a lot better this year than I have other years, so...
That's awesome.
Maybe I'm not giving myself as much credit as I deserve, but let's not focus on that.
Yeah,
Pete Rose.
Yeah, Pete Rose, right?
Yeah, let's go back to him.
Good.
Yeah, Pete Rose. So, you know, he got his statue in Great American Ballpark, and he was inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame, but, you know, the question always stands, should he be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame? Mm-hmm. What's your opinion, Patrick?
Wow. You know, what he did, the gambling, is the reason why he's not in there, right? He gambled on games when he was the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and it was wrong. He knew it was wrong. He denied it at first, but then now he wrote a book, and he came out publicly saying that I lied, I need to be absolved of my sins, and move forward. At that point, the commissioner was just like, I don't care. Like, you screwed up. You get over it. Like, you're not going to be in the Hall of Fame, right? So when Manford came in after the previous commissioner, he thought maybe he got a chance to get in there.
Yeah.
I believe, and this is just my opinion, that Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, without a doubt. I don't see how you have the all-time hits leader 17 All-Star games, NL MVP, a number of different awards, Rookie of the Year back in '63. Right when he came in the league, he was a stud, right? So many different awards, batting titles. He was on the Hall of Fame ballot. It's not like he wasn't. I mean, people still vote for him. It's just in the single digits, right? So people want him in there. There's a huge argument. I mean, there's so many different categories. I mean, he's had Gold Gloves, Silver Sluggers, slugging percentages. I mean, he's first in on-base percentage. I mean, I keep going on and on and on about the statistics that he puts up. And no one in the Hall of Fame could probably touch many of those statistics, right? It's the fact that he gambled on the game, something that was outside of his playing ability that makes him not be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but like, I agree with you, Patrick, fully. And I think the point that some people want to make is that the fact that it went against, like, the heart of the game, like, gambling, it's against what baseball stands for. But even through that, you can't argue with the facts that he was one of the best players of all time, and he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, like, no matter what.
Right. And then there's something to be said for sure. And baseball is not the only sport that talks about the integrity of the game, right?
Yeah.
We talk like football. We haven't gotten football on this radio show much because we're in the summer and they're doing OTAs and things like that. But towards the end of the summer, we're going to start talking about football. And they talk about the integrity of the game. How are we keeping the players safe? How are we keeping it like with tradition and keeping the actual sport intact? And people like Pete Rose apparently aren't not keeping the integrity of the game, but he's an advocate of it.
Yeah.
He goes out and signs books, and granted, most of it's kind of selfish. I'm not going to lie to him. I mean, he's making money off of it, right? But he's an advocate for the game. He's going out and saying, like, this is a great thing that Manfred's doing. I really think that this piece of the game should be different, or, he's always talking about it. He's at Reds games all the time.
Yeah,
all the time. He's sitting behind home plate, and he's a huge supporter of the Reds and baseball in general. So you think he should be in the Hall of Fame as well, then, right?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, let's move on. Okay, so we always talk about the Reds to start off, and that's a great opening statement. But now let's talk a little NBA. And we've talked about the NBA. This is our third show, and we've talked to the NBA each time.
Yeah.
Both about the playoffs.
Yeah.
But right now, it's a little different. Playoffs are done. Warriors destroyed the Cavs. I'm going to use the word destroyed because I know you used it in the NHL. So you're like, they demolished them. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that fondly.
So you're like, the Penguins destroyed the Predators. I was like, destroyed, really? But no, I'm gonna say the Warriors kind of like had their way with the Cavs a little bit. But the NBA draft is this Thursday, so we're Wednesday, June 21st. The 22nd, tomorrow, is the NBA draft.
Yeah.
And we've had some shuffling at the top. And again, for third year in a row, the 76ers will have the first pick in the NBA draft. And it wasn't because they had the worst record or they had the lottery pick. It was because they traded with the Celtics. Because they had the third overall pick, and they traded with the Celtics to get the first overall pick. And a lot of experts think that Markelle Fultz is going to be the number one pick for the 76ers to help Simmons and Embiid be like their big three. So what do you think? Do you have any opinion on what's going on with the NBA draft tomorrow? And do you have any GM perspective that you want to give us?
Well, I think I can say for certain that Markelle Fultz is going to be picked first in the NBA draft. The 76ers just need a guy like him, and he's a playmaker, and he can just play basketball so well. Like,
yeah.
Have you seen his highlights?
I have. He's a slasher.
Yeah, he is a slasher.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
A little Rose, Derrick Rose.
Really?
Yeah, he does. He's kind of got that. I mean, he's not as big, like, physically as Derrick Rose, but he can slash through the lane, really convert around the rim, slippery. That type of game changer. He doesn't really have a good shot. I mean, he has a better shot than most. I mean, we're going to talk about Lonzo Ball here in a sec, and his mid-ranges right now and bold plays in the NFL draft. So you think that you're going to be getting A, B, and C in these mock drafts, because these mock drafts, these things are popular now. Like, you can go through and be like, oh, okay, we're going to have the top 32 picks go this way, and then like there's no one correct in that top 10 that they're going to get.
None of them.
No.
None of them.
So it's going to be interesting to see, because a lot of movement has happened. So we're the day before, and yesterday there was a lot of movement for trade. So Dwight Howard got traded from the Hawks to the Hornets.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some talk right now about the Lakers trying to get rid of D'Angelo Russell and Timothy Mozgov to go somewhere to maybe have a chance at Lonzo Ball and maybe LeBron James down the road.
Yeah.
That's the talk. What do you think about that?
Okay, so for the Dwight Howard thing, I'm just gonna touch on that. Dwight Howard's career is I don't know what other way to say it. It's just that he's not in the prime of his career anymore. He's not the Dwight Howard that we saw in 2007, 2008. You know, the years when he put up MVP type numbers. You know, just amazing numbers when he was with the Magic. He's not like that anymore. He's still a big guy. He's a big center, and he can do some stuff for you. But overall, I just think that he's not really worth that much anymore. He's not worth as much as he once was. He's getting pretty old now. And
but, you know, Dwight Howard's value was on the defensive end.
Yeah.
He was on the Olympic teams. That's why they got him. I mean, he's a big dude. I mean, physically, his shoulders are broad. I mean, you look at Phil Jackson, and I don't know why I'm comparing Phil Jackson to Dwight Howard, but their shoulders are very similar. Like, you look at Phil Jackson's shoulders, they look like a mountain. And they look, I swear to God, you look at a picture of Phil Jackson and Dwight Howard, they look very similar just because of his broad. But Dwight Howard's huge. Like, the man is sculpted, and he's worked hard to get there. But you think about height-wise, I mean, there's so many people nowadays in the NBA that are 7 foot tall, right?
Oh,
he's 6'11", 7 foot tall, right? He's not like among the bigs like Shaquille O'Neal was. Like when Shaquille was in the league, when he was with the Lakers and so many other different teams. I mean, I think he's had 6 different teams in his career. He was the big guy, right?
Yeah.
He's averaging 34 points a game, and he was a defensive presence. Dwight Howard solely was the defensive presence, and that's why everyone wanted him was to protect the rim.
And now he's not even doing that as much. He's just kind of standing around, maybe waiting for the ball to. I mean, that's not a good way of putting it, but you know, he's not doing as much as he once did when he was the guy for the Magic.
You're right.
Or if he was like taken by the Lakers as like a guy who would make plays, who would propel them to a championship. And then his career just started getting gradually worse and worse, and now it's definitely not in the best spot.
Right. So that's why they're making moves to try to get somebody that's younger, more talented per se, and maybe a better shooter offensively, because it's becoming an offensive league.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the NBA playoffs. I mean, we're scoring 130 a game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's crazy.
But then you say, like, well, we need Dwight Howard for defense. Like, well, if you're not putting any offense up, then you better be doing great things on defense, and he hasn't been doing those great things lately.
And even really good defensive teams in the past, like the Pacers had really good defense one year. Even they weren't good enough to beat the Heat at that time, who were a very offensive team, you know, with LeBron and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. So defense can only get you so far without any offense, and the same is true with offense and no defense. You have to have a nice balance between the two, or else you're not going to be able to win any rings or even go to a finals.
I agree. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting looking forward for tomorrow, see what kind of trades happen, because if D'Angelo Russell gets away from the Lakers, and you have Magic Johnson running the show over there, which is he's a business mind that's really unique in the basketball spectrum. I think he's going to be moving some pieces around, but then I this is just my opinion. He moves Russell, he loses credibility in my mind, because Russell was a high pick.
Yeah,
Russell was something they were looking forward to be like the next Kobe Bryant, right?
Yeah, he was number 3, right?
Yeah, it was extremely high. It was like top 5.
Yeah.
And now you're going to get rid of him after 3 years. I mean, granted, he's had some bad times in that locker room. He's not necessarily the most liked guy on that team. I mean, culture is huge. I mean, you come into that locker room, and this is why I'm going to get off base here for a little bit, but I'm a big fan of De'Aaron Fox. I'm a big fan of culture. And De'Aaron Fox from Kentucky can go into any locker room with a smile on his face and really energize a team. And not to mention his skills are crazy good. I think in the 2 times that he played Lonzo Ball, and one of them was in the NCAA tournament, he destroyed him. Like, he just made him look funny. You know, he went right around Lonzo Ball and scored more than Lonzo Ball. And, I mean, a lot of this has to do with his dad, too. Lonzo Ball's dad.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's building him up, and the big baller brand, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's my take on the NBA. So, let's move on. and let's talk about a subject that you want to talk about. So let's give us your payoff pitch. So we're getting towards the end here. We're not going to be here most likely for the July 4th weekend, but the payoff pitch, Joey, what do you want to talk about and tell everybody about your pitch?
Well, my pitch is for the Reds, and
shocking.
Yeah, really.
Who, by the way, not to interrupt you, is down 0-1. So they're playing a day game on this Wednesday against Tampa Bay, and they are now down a run. Edelman gave it up. But the Reds are batting with a person on second base and one out, and Votto is batting.
All right, thank you for the information.
You're welcome, sir. I knew you'd be interested.
All right. Anyways, the Reds, they have not had a very good week not had a good week. They got swept by the Dodgers, who, to be fair, are a very good team.
Dude, they're sweeping everybody right now.
Well, yeah.
They can't be stopped.
Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager, all those guys.
Seager had like 3 home runs last night.
Yeah, he had 3 home runs.
Jeez.
He's trying to pull off a scooter. He's trying to pull off a Scooter Jeanette.
But he got 4. There's only one unique scooter.
Yeah, only one unique scooter. And then, they have all these guys, and now they're getting beat by Tampa Bay. They lost yesterday. They won the game before, which was good because they're Tampa Bay. They're not really a good team.
Well, they're decent this year. They're middle of the pack. They're only about, I think, 4 games out of first.
Really?
Yeah, they're not bad.
I know that the AL East this year is kind of like everybody's pretty all right.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, the AL East is, I think you got like one team that might not be, and I can't remember which one it is at this point.
Blue Jays.
Yeah, but they might be in the race. I mean, because recently, the Rays have been bad.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, outside of having Madden, John Madden.
John Madden.
I can't remember his first name off the top of my head.
Evan Longoria?
No. The manager for the Cubs now who used to manage
Joe
the
Madden.
Rays. Joe Madden, yeah. Joe Madden. Ever since they got rid of him, it's almost felt like they weren't any good.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the thing. Joe Madden kind of propels a team to be really good. I mean, you saw it with the Rays. They went to the World Series in 2008, I believe, with Evan Longoria, who's just 23 at the time. They had James Shields. They had David Price, of course.
Right.
They had a ton of young talent, and I guess all those guys kind of got older. So John Madden was like, John Madden.
Joe, yeah, no, it's my fault. I totally did that too.
Kind of said, okay, well, I want young guys again. So he moved on to the Cubs, and they won a World Series, and he was like, yeah, I'm staying here.
Yeah. So tell us your pitch. What's your pitch about the Reds now?
My pitch about the Reds is that they need, if they want to have any kind of playoff contention, if they want to contend for even a wild card spot, they have to figure out their pitching. They just released Bronson Arroyo after a very bad start, and they just have a bunch of nobodies up there starting for them. The best known player probably is Scott Feldman, and he's always been a decent pitcher at best. And they have Amir Garrett, who's a rookie, and he looks good. Yeah. And they have a ton of injuries. DeSclafani, Homer Bailey, who's been injured for like years.
But he's coming up though. He's rehabbing right now in AA or AAA or something like that, and he's looking good.
Which is good because the Reds need that.
Yeah. He needs to prove his worth right now. He's getting $100 million to stick around in rehab for the last 3 years.
Really?
Oh yeah. We paid him a bunch. Instead of paying Cueto, we pay Homer Bailey, and then he gets injured, and Cueto's actually still starting in the league.
And he's still really good.
He's still really good. So we're going to have to figure out our pitching is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah, I mean, our pitching's a big deal. We just had a 9-game losing streak.
Yeah, 9 games.
9 games, and then we beat the Rays, and then we lose again, get to them yesterday, and we're down 1-0 again. Still, we have to figure something out. Yeah, I mean, our hitting was hot for a while. I mean, Scooter Jeanette obviously was the story during that, but we need to figure out some offense. Our pitching can only do so much because, I mean, you have, what is it, a good start for a starting pitcher is giving up, 3 less runs, right? It's a quality start.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to score more than 3 runs if our pitchers are going to be learning new things. Okay, so I love that payoff pitch. Thanks, Joey. I'm going to give you 2 payoff pitches. I couldn't decide which one to give you, so I'm just going to give you a short segment of both. So we just had the PGA, and the U.S. Open just happened over in Erin Hills in Wisconsin, and Brooks Koepka. Do you know who Brooks Koepka is?
No idea.
You don't? That's surprising because I don't think anyone did before the U.S. Open. This guy came out of nowhere. And again, just another new person to win a major this year, which has been the trend. He won at a 16 under par, and it was a 117th U.S. Open. He won by 4 strokes, and he tied the lowest score in U.S. Open history.
Wow.
The lowest score in U.S. Open history. He tied it with Rory McIlroy. And what's surprising about his 4 days there at Erin Hills was he only missed 10 greens. 10 greens all week.
All week?
All week he missed 10 greens.
Wow.
I can't believe that. Yeah, that's unprecedented. And to put that in perspective, Tiger Woods, when he won a major, only missed 20 greens. That was his best.
Wow.
So yeah. I mean, 10 less than what Tiger Woods did in his prime when he won a major.
And this guy's like a complete nobody. You know, he just came out of nowhere.
He came out of nowhere is right, but still, like, if you're on the tour, you're not a nobody. People know who you are.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to be good if you're going to be on the tour. I really thought Jim Furyk, and I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous radio show, I thought Jim Furyk was going to win that. Because I had a feeling, I don't know what it was, but Jim Furyk, he's due. He's going to come up. And the next major isn't in for, like, I don't know, like 4 weeks or something like that. But it's not close. So I know you don't like to talk about golf too much, so we're not going to talk about golf for the next few weeks.
I never said that.
I got that. I get this little like twinkle in your eye when you're like, oh, we're talking about golf again. Can we talk more about the Reds?
Come on.
But outside of that, so I'm going to get a little serious here. So that's one of my half of my payoff pitch to our listeners. But the next payoff pitch I'm going to have is official fight for Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather has been scheduled for August. And is this Irish stud who thinks he's like got it all, right? Like he's this Irish playboy rocking his attitude, and Floyd Mayweather is the money team. That's his MTM. That's the money team. That's what it stands for. And he's all about getting money, right?
Yeah.
Well, his reputation isn't all that great. He's had a lot of different things happen in the past decade, and just to give you a rundown, in March 2002, he had pled guilty to 2 counts of battery and domestic violence. In August of 2003, he assaulted 2 women. In 2004, he was convicted of 2 counts of battery, and in December of 2011, he was sentenced to 90 days in jail after pleading guilty to a reduced battery of domestic violence. So there are 4 instances that I just quickly ran off there about his character.
Yeah.
And the debate was whether or not if we pay for this pay-per-view, if we're actually, advocating for that kind of behavior in sports. So it's a little difficult. I'm not going to make this any type of political because this is an awesome show that we have. But I just wanted to put that out there because there's a lot of, especially think about and reflect on, what we're actually doing with our lives, right? Like you're going in as a freshman in Clark Montessori, is going, especially at Clark. You
can say for certain that it's going to be Mayweather easy. I mean, there are 2 different types of fighters, and they're going at it. Facing
because
each
one's
other.
MMA.
Yeah, and one's MMA, and the other is
an actual boxer.
Yes, yeah, really.
And that was an interesting debate. Whether when they first, when Conor McGregor just got off his win. And he was talking like, hey, bring on Floyd Mayweather. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is a completely different arena for you. Like, just because you have some boxing and ultimate fighting doesn't mean you can get in a ring and actually box.
Well, he's just stupid.
Well, we're going to find out in August if he's made a correct decision. Some boxing, not experts, but enthusiasts, and they say Mayweather's just going to eat him up. It's not even going to be funny. Like, he's just going to toy with him a little bit, just be like, hey guy, whatever, and then just knock him out
to get his 50th straight win.
That would be
undefeated.
Be huge. Yeah, that would be huge. So those are my 2 payoff pitches, and moving forward, so we won't see you July 4th for the most part. Joey, I'm going to miss your face. I know you're going to miss mine.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll have an NBA draft that we could talk a little bit about. I'm sure there's going to be more trades for the NBA that has happened. The Reds are probably going to have another losing streak that we can talk about. And we'll see what happens with their pitching, and we'll move forward and hopefully talk about some other pressing issues as well. Do you want to take us out?
Well, I think I will. So that'll do it for this week's edition of the Payoff Pitch here on 95.7 MRC FM, Cincinnati's new music, and I hope you enjoyed.